We're a cash deposits trading platform. I usually say you go meet your friends on Facebook. You can meet your business connections on LinkedIn. If you want to meet other treasurers and make cash deposits, you can go on Instimatch Global and you'll meet other treasurers looking for cash or looking to dispose of excess cash. We try to connect points on the globe that haven't been connected before. Cash deposits business is one that is still very not very automated and not trading on a platform. I'll try to give you a couple of numbers. Moody's actually states that currently EMEA corporates sit on a cash pile of almost 1 trillion euros. Despite a lot of M&A activity, that cash is looking to be disposed through cash deposits, at least partially. Then the ECB, to give you another couple of numbers, the ECB reports that daily volume in unsecured cash deposits on a daily basis is around 120 billion. Similarly, the Bank of England reports that on a daily basis, there's about 65 billion of cash deposits traded between institutional counterparties. And I think interesting enough from the ECB study that dates back about 3-4 years is that direct and bilateral transactions, meaning transactions in cash deposits between two counterparties, basically leaving out all of the rest of the market, account for almost 55%. That means deposits are happening between two counterparties without checking prices with other counterparties, which is actually amazing, an amazing fact. Then about 1/3 of all transactions still happen through voice brokers. So in a very traditional way, not through a platform, not facilitated. What we see and hear from our clients is still that a lot of business goes through voice brokers or through Bloomberg or Reuters chat rooms. And only 10% of all business actually happens through electronic venues. We count on network effects when building the platform. We obviously see that an increased user diversification, I'll come to that in a second, will help you increase market depth on the trading platform, increase liquidity, increase the trade probability, and ultimately result in lower transaction cost. We're currently onboarding banks, corporates, asset managers, pension funds, large family office, even public sector counterparties across the globe. I'll come to a few facts in a second. Brittany will show you the trading platform or give you a short demo in 2-3 minutes and give you a little deep dive into the system. Highlights currently of the company. We have about 70 institutional clients across 12 countries, mostly in the DACH region, Germany, Switzerland, UK. We're just opening office in Qatar, spanning into not just Qatar, but also Kuwait and Oman very soon. We've developed a piece in DLT, which will allow institutional counterparties to borrow and lend money intraday. So the money will get, borrowing and lending will become shorter and shorter. Of course, European regulators are also forcing banks to be in control over their intraday liquidity. DLT allows us to provide a solution that will, allow you to borrow and lend money for 2-3 hours. Then we're currently in talks with a lot of strategic partners around connectivity into treasury management systems with brokers and other providers to leverage the capabilities. Expansion Middle East and Asia, I mentioned. I guess Instimatch Global is a smart, disruptive, and efficient way to manage your cash. We'll give you a quick demo into the system now with Brittany. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Brittany Du, head of sales at Instimatch Global. This is what the system looks like. As Daniel mentioned, today there's only 10% of unsecured money markets or unsecured cash deposits trades electronically. So that means there's a lot of trades happening that the corporates don't see, that the banks don't see. There's a lot of rates out there that you're unaware of. What our system does, it brings together all of these different companies, banks, corporates, investment managers, etc., under one screen, but in a view that's completely customizable. So if you're a corporate and you only want to see banks in Germany and the UK, that are A minus or better, you can filter to do just that. If you're a corporate and you're only trading dollar and renminbi, you can filter to do just that. Today we have 14 currencies, but I filtered it to just these 4 for this specific demo. But what you can see is any time of the day, I'll zoom in a bit, you can see the given rates across the board. So this is coming from global counterparties. We focused on very highly rated banks as well. So if we look at here, we're in dollars, you can see all of the bids or the borrowers in the green, and then all of the lenders in red, or the offers. So let's just say I'm happen to be a corporate and I'm sitting on excess cash that I'd like to place for 1 month. Here we are. We see a full stack of 4 different counterparties that are happy to take dollars in 1 month. The ones that are in gray are the counterparties I don't know. The ones that are in green are the counterparties that I've already done the KYC with. So who's BritBank? Because they have the best price. They're currently 2.25 in 1 month dollar. So here I can quickly see they're based in the UK. And in fact, they're based in London, and they're Moody's A1 rated. So maybe I want to get the KYC going. So what the system does, rather than, I'm sure you're bombarded with opportunities to open new trading lines and new relationships with banks, but the system will help you validate who you open those deposit lines with, because you can see here the levels that they're trading, and you can see it on a consistent basis. So you can say, okay, BritBank, I'm going to watch your rate and see if it's consistent over the next few weeks or few days, for example. But let's just say you did want to trade. You could click in. So in this case, I moved over to 2 months to Jane Bank, a bank that I am familiar with. And I'm happy to place with Jane Bank in this example. I can counter to ask this bank to improve their price slightly, or I can just submit, meaning I'm happy with Jane Bank's price here. Jane Bank will get pop-up on the other side that says XYZ Corporate is happy to place with you at this price. Do they accept or reject? And then from that moment, if they accept, then the trade is done and you get a confirmation with all of the trade and settlement details. So settlement happens offline and bilaterally, which is the same way it happens today. Say if you were to trade on the phone or on chat. But in terms of meeting new counterparties, so for example, that gray BritBank that I mentioned earlier, you could go to trading partners and you'd have a full list of all of our counterparties. So this is growing on a weekly basis. You'll see new counterparties coming up all the time. You simply click in, and here you have BritBank, information about the bank, the location, located right in London, Moody's A1 rated, and then here you'd have all of the relevant KYC documents to move forward. So in one spot, you have a full database with KYC documents, annual report, Wolfberg statement, etc. And then down below, if you wanted to talk to them a bit further, or there's something additional you needed, maybe a bespoke report, you could always contact them directly. So you'd have the head of treasury and the treasurer's contact information. So not only does the system bring you validation of new trading partners, but it gives you greater transparency and saves a great deal of time. So rather than having to pick up the phone and call 70 different banks for 70 different prices, you can go to one screen. Crucially, there's a lot that you can do to customize this. As I mentioned earlier, if you just wanted to say, I only want to see corporates, or I only want to see banks rated, A minus or better, you can do that. You can block anyone you don't want to see, etc.